Yeah, this is what I was just
I guess
about to highlight as
meetings.
well. I said you just need to be careful as well. I think, not everybody might be aware of what IR35 is.
I did want to get into that
Yeah,
actually.
it's
Yeah.
IR35 is something that's sort of hindered us a little bit
Yeah.
over the past couple of years.
Explain what is
It's
higher.
a tax regulation. So
Okay.
IR35 is a tax regulation that's been imposed on smaller contractors.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're all contractors. We're all going through limited companies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what HMRC would do is try and chase us up.
Mm.
They'll try and chase up the little man to pay additional taxes, etc., etc.
Why?
Because they saw us as employees
Yeah.
of another organization.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what then do they need to see is a difference between?
Yes. So what's happened now? There's a clear difference in what is inside IR35 and what's outside IR35. Ideally, you want to be outside IR35. When we say outside IR35, you're still in control of your taxes,
Yeah.
on what you're getting paid, what you're paying yourself, and how you work.
Your
Yeah.
deliverables.
Yeah. So what will happen when I always recommend get your accountant or a tax advisor to double check your contracts before you sign anything anyway.
Yeah.
But on your contracts, it should be very clear that you're outside IR35. And that means that you're just given a set of deliverables. There isn't a set working hours. You don't report up into anybody. You use your own equipment, and you're classified technically as an outside consultant to a certain extent.
So let's just say that is the case. So you're outside, your contract says you're outside I-35, but then someone from the company wants to have a meeting with you and you're like, actually, no, I work in the night. Can you say that?
No, again, that depends on the flexibility with you, with yourself. What the company needs to understand as well is they can't tie you down to a sole contract anymore. Yeah. Historically, what would have happened is you're recruited by this company. You're solely working for their for their
Which means now
company.
you can have two contracts.
Now you should be technically if you're outside IR35, you can have multiple contracts going on at the same time. Because how they should be treating you is, I'm not sure if you're familiar with sort of the consultancy firms such as KPMG and EY and all those firms. They technically what happens is a lot of these firms, large firms, they would go to the KPMGs of the world, EYs of the world, and get consultancy service from them. And they would pay them a set rate to say, this is what we're gonna this is what we're gonna pay you, etc., etc. Negotiations happen, and then KPMG can work on multiple contracts at the same time. That's what technically IR35 should be treated as.
Outside IR35.
Outside IR35 is that you're technically seen as an outside consultant. So you're not obliged.
More sense to me now. Okay.
You're not obliged to that company to work 9 to 5 for them. You can work, I don't know, 9 to
You just have to deliver, basically.
You just have to deliver the deliverables. So they might come and ask you for an update, which is completely within their remit. They can come and ask you for an update, but they can't sit down with you and say you can solely work for us.
Okay.
Unless,
okay.
But this is the way you need. Unless within there they get you to sign an NDA. Yeah. If you have signed an NDA, that means you're working for them on a specific project, etc., and it's confidential, and they've got an agreement with you that you're not going to take anything else on.
So that's a way to do it without being...
And they're finding loopholes. I'll be honest.
Okay, that's a loophole,
there's a loophole. There's a lot of loopholes, and it's still a bit of a grey area.
So just to be clear then, when you're inside IR35, and so is there... Okay, let's just explain what inside IR35 is.
Yeah. So inside IR35 basically means you're treated as a standard employee. Yeah. You might be
paid a
daily.
rate.
You might be paid daily rate, but you report up into someone. You get all the equipment given to you. You're on site. Maybe 3 days of the week, etc., etc. But what happens is the company pays the taxes.
Which company?
So the company that you're working for, they will pay the taxes.
Okay, so you end up getting less into your account.
Less into your account,
And then do you have to then do your own tax return?
No,
or that's based on whether you've got other income or
Yeah.
So but let's just say you had that one job.
Yeah, that
you wouldn't have to
do it now.
Okay. That's starting to make much more sense to me. All right. So let's just say a company wasn't clear or led you to think, can this happen? They lead you to think that you're outside, but you're actually inside.
Oh yeah, initially when all this came in, there was so much confusion.
Yeah, I remember you guys used to always talk about that.
There was just so much confusion. No, even the organization, they didn't really know what was going on. It's such a grey area because basically what happened with iR35 was HMRC got fed up of chasing the little man, so they just went to the big organizations and they said, we're gonna come for you.
Yeah.
You know, if you're using this specific workforce as employees and you're just sort of getting them as day rates rather than giving them a full-time salary and making them full-time employees, this is a loophole for you. So we're just going to come after you instead of going after the little man.
Okay.
So that's where it all sort of stemmed from. And it was confusing for a lot of people. It's a lot of the talent sort of just went, and a lot of people just sort of...
Where did they go?
Disappeared because no one wanted to be inside iR35. No one wanted to,
but did they flee? Did they go to another country? Or?
No, they just, I said, they went and either started up their own sort of consultancy firms, and they found a loophole as well. Okay. You know, they started up their own consultancy firms and started selling their services to these organizations, and they came in such as a much smaller version of the KPMGs and the EYs, etc.
Sure.
And that's what happened. And
that's pretty much what you guys are now, right? You're just much smaller versions of KPMG.
Yeah, that's what we have to be treated as. Yeah. Otherwise, I said, if it was to be reported or someone was to raise something to HMRC, they would come after the big organization and say...
They still would, yeah?
Yeah, I said, there's been cases where, companies have been reported where, they're treating consultants as employees.
Oh, I see. So the part where it becomes, let's just say, illegal or whatever, is where if it says in your contract that you're outside IR35, but they're treating you as an employee, then they're gonna come after.
Yeah.
Either you or the employer,
basically. They would technically come to the consultant first, and then we would have to show our contracts and say, we're technically outside IR35, but they're treating us XYZ. That's what it would be.
So who gets penalized in that?
The organization would get penalized because they put the contract together. It's their contract. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I understand.
We wouldn't classify it as the employer. Yeah, they are the client. The client. Yeah,
they're a client, isn't it? So, just to give a bit more kind of understanding to the audience, what kind of things or what kind of skill sets can go into contracting? And also, your specialism now is, I feel like project management is a big one. Like it could be project management, in your case, HR or HR change management and that sort of thing. What other things can you, because we have friends in Salesforce, right?
Yeah, IT is probably one of the biggest areas for sort of contractual work, really and truly. So there's a huge market out there. Whether you want to do Salesforce, whether you want to just do Workday systems, whether you want to do sort of Oracle systems or etc. There's so many different systems out there that you can become an expert of. But again, it's all down to the individuals themselves. To say, if you're gonna go out and learn coding, go out and learn coding, and then when you've got the relevant experience. So what I would recommend anyway is gain the experience in a permanent position, gain the knowledge, gain the expertise, and then delve yourself into contractual positions.
You have to be at a certain level. You can't just be.
You can't jump into it. No,
you have to be. So ultimately, what I'm understanding is you're all running small businesses pretty much, right? And if you're running a business, you have to be credible.
Yeah.
So you have to be to a certain caliber, basically, right? So you have to have you've got to have your mileage.
Yeah, your CV will speak for itself. That's your selling point, isn't it? And what kind of services you can provide? What expertise can you bring that we don't already have in the organization? That's what the organizations are looking for at the moment.